Shed hunting is a really great way to use your dog's mind as well as their body. So not only are they going to be out running around looking for the shed, but mentally they're going to be exerting themselves by using their nose and having to problem solve to find it. A shed is an antler that falls off of a male deer that happens every year in the middle of the winter, usually like around now when it starts to get really cold, January, February, when those temperatures really drop, their antlers will fall off. And if you can recreate it in the backyard, you can then take your dog out on a hike with you or to, an open space and see if you can find the antlers that are left behind. So this is what you're going to need to start shed training your dog. This is called rack wax. See if I can get it in focus. So this is what is going to make the antlers smell like an actual deer antler. It's just like a chapstick tube and you put it on the end of the shed. I use a bucket because you're going to want these to smell like what they're supposed to be, which is a deer antler, not like the garage or the house or your hands or anything like that. You're also going to want to wear some sort of gloves. It doesn't matter what type, but store them in the bucket with the other stuff so it all smells the same. You're going to want to use the end of the antler, which is where it would be attached to the deer. And that's where the rack wax goes on. You don't really want to cover the whole thing in it because A, you don't want to use too much, and you don't want it really in the dog's mouth. But you do want to liberally apply it to the end here, and that's what's going to give it that deer-like smell, so the dogs can actually find them in a real situation. Now, if you are just doing this in the backyard to keep your dog busy and you don't intend on actually shed hunting them and trying to find the real ones out in the wild, then you're not going to need to do this step. It can just smell like whatever. But again, this is a good product to just sort of identify it as something different than what the everyday smells are in the house. And again, use gloves to handle these because you're going to want it to retain that scent, not your scent that's going to transfer from your hand to the shed. One other thing to mention is you're going to want a lid for the bucket so that it can keep all of that smell in there. I have my seat lid that I use to sit on the bucket for retriever training. It can be any lid for the bucket. You just want to seal everything in there. So if you have a dog that's new to it, you're going to want to just drop the antler out in the open. Let them get that visual as soon as they pick up that scent and the immediate reward that they did what they were looking to do. If your dog is a little more seasoned or they get pretty good at that gets too easy, go ahead and hide the antlers. So right here, it's basically completely concealed, still a little bit of opening to where that scent can escape, but the dog is going to have to actually use their nose to look for it. So that's how you can make it more challenging as it sort of starts to get too easy for the dogs as they've been practicing. So if your dog is off-leash trained, you can have them off-leash. If not, you're going to want to keep a check cord on them so that they can get a little bit out, but not too far. I've got my dog Blue here, and I tell him the command, go look for your bone. Mr. Blue, where's your bone? We're going to go find your bone. So I'm going to give him that command, release him. Okay, go find it. And then off he goes. All right, so we're up to the area where the antler is. And he's starting to hunt. You can see he's going back and forth. Checking the perimeter. I'm just going to let him work it out and use his nose. He's on the scent, and he found it. Very good. Good. Here, sit. So that's what it looks like with a dog that is finished and knows how to shed hunt. When you're starting out, you're going to just take them to that area and let them pick up the scent around the object and really praise them when they find it. The other thing you're going to want to do is make sure that they think that this is a really cool object. So don't let them have it in the house. I don't let them chew on the deer antlers. They're a little too brittle. The white-tailed deer antlers, if you can get your hands on the ones that are made for chewing, like elk or moose, that can be safer. Make sure it's a big enough piece they can't choke on it. And what you're going to want to do is make it a really fun object. Don't let them have it 24/7. Take it out, make a really big deal out of it, make it really fun, let them have it and enjoy it for a few minutes, and then put it back away. This will keep their interest piqued with it, and they'll start to want to find that object out in the yard for you.